Previously, on Umpire Magazine, The Hot Take, two brave podcasters faced the unthinkable. A world where flying pigs dominated the box office, where a nose job movie scored a 9 out of 10, and where one cynical co-host actually admitted, on the record, that the Coen brothers don't make bad films. Alliances were forged, hearts were broken, and one man still refused to have fun at the movies.
Please never do that voice again. I'm begging you. I will pay you actual money.
Too late. It's canon now. Welcome back, everybody, to Umpire Magazine, The Hot Take. I'm Jamie, the one with a functioning sense of joy. And the human rain cloud beside me is Alex.
And I'm the one who has to live with the fact that last week I said the Coen brothers' dog movie was going to be genuinely brilliant. Bite Hard is now in cinemas. I haven't seen the numbers yet. I'm already regretting the endorsement.
Oh, no. You don't get to walk that back. You looked into the microphone and said, and I quote, "They don't make bad films." That's your legacy now, Alex. You're the bite hard guy.
I also said dogs can't act, so at least I hedged my bets. But fine. Let's talk about what actually happened this week, because somehow the box office has gotten even more unhinged than when your precious flying pigs were running the show.
Okay. So the big story is absolutely wild. We've got an animated seagull and a horror movie separated by $231,000 at the top of the chart. That's nothing. That's lunch money for a studio executive. Well, unless you're the YMS guy eating sad desk sandwiches.
Sammy the Seagull versus Fearscape. Hide and stay quiet. A cartoon bird against a film whose title is literally survival instructions. This is the cultural landscape of spring 2026, and I want off this ride.
Sammy pulled $15.2 million this week. That seagull is a movie star, Alex. Audiences love that bird.
Audiences love Planet of the Pigs too, and you spent all of last week yelling at me that sometimes people just want to have fun at the movies. Same energy, different animal. At least the pig could fly. What does a seagull do? Steal chips and scream. That's not a protagonist, that's a nuisance.
But here's the thing. Fearscape has 41.6 million total, which actually leads the whole field. So audiences are split right down the middle between adorable animation and absolute terror. And honestly, I think that's beautiful. That's the full spectrum of human emotion right there.
Fearscape got a 4 out of 10, Jamie. Sammy got a 6. The two biggest films in the country average out to a 5. We are living in aggressively average times.
You know what, though? Speaking of things that are not average, can we please talk about Hard Peanut? 8 out of 10 from Follywood. Highest critic score among the newer releases. 3.3 million weekly and building.
Hard Peanut. The name sounds like a rejected pub snack, but fine. I'll admit an 8 out of 10 is genuinely impressive in a week, where the average score is hovering somewhere between mildly disappointing birthday party and stepped in something unpleasant. That's not my line, by the way. That's straight from the magazine.
And the magazine is right. Quality finds a way, Alex. Hard Peanut is the little mystery that could, and I am emotionally invested in its success. Remember last week when I got upset about Wild Enclosure making less than $200,000? This is the opposite. This is a good film slowly finding its people.
Meanwhile, let's inventory the absolute wreckage further down the chart, shall we? Scream TV, 2 out of 10. Somehow pulled $4.5 million. God of War, also 2 out of 10. Limping along on what the magazine describes as deeply confused mythology enthusiasts. Paper Wings has folded, pun apparently regrettable but intended.
And The Sex Files. Remember last week you were outraged about the title alone?
Oh, I remember. It now has a 3 out of 10 and made $121,000. The magazine says it gives off the energy of a VHS tape found in a skip, which is the most poetic description of failure I've ever read. I might get it tattooed.
And WrestleMax, which you roasted last week for being misspelled on its own poster, is arriving next Thursday, pre-slapped with a 3 out of 10. The universe heard your complaints and said, here's more ammunition, Alex.
They still haven't fixed the spelling. It's still WRESLTE on the poster. At this point, I think the typo has achieved sentience and is refusing to be corrected.
Okay, but real talk. Can we get into the rumor mill? Because this week's gossip section is genuinely unhinged, and I need to process it with another human being.
Last week, we had a studio head doing laundry in a screening room sink. This week, Tom Vandenberg, CEO of Umpire Movie Studios, stock at $112 per share, is eating a sad desk sandwich every single day. The man is rich, Jamie. He could buy the sandwich shop. He could buy all the sandwich shops.
He says it keeps him grounded. And honestly, I find that kind of endearing. Like, here's a guy at the top of the mountain who still brown bags his lunch. That's humility, Alex.
That's not humility. That's a man funneling the catering budget into his films. Meanwhile, Pitch Black Pictures is apparently rejecting cinematographers for using too much light. One guy showed up with an LED panel and got escorted out by a man carrying a single candle. Their stock is at $85, which shareholders are calling suspiciously bright for a company this committed to darkness.
That is the funniest thing in the whole magazine, and I will not hear otherwise. But oh, Lens Flare Larry at Out of Focus. Features lost both his film's master copy and his glasses on the same Tuesday. The stock dipped a fraction of a cent, and he couldn't even read about it.
Out of Focus features trading at $20, and their CEO literally cannot see. The company name has never been more appropriate. And then there's Explodo Vision, where Buck Thornton somehow blew up the craft services table, and the fire marshal cited him for 16 violations, one of which was simply labeled enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm? As a fire code violation, that's the most Explodo Vision thing I've ever heard. And Friday Corp's CEO called an emergency board meeting on a Wednesday at a company called Friday Corp with a PowerPoint that had the word pivot in 96-point font on slide 4.
Stock at $7. Board voted to table all decisions until Friday. You genuinely could not write this stuff. Well, someone did write it, but you know what I mean.
And the remake company filed paperwork to remake its own filing paperwork. They changed the font from Garamond to Times New Roman and called it more cinematic. Stock at 0. I am losing my mind.
That's the industry for you. Now, looking ahead, next week we get Day Is Gone Forever ? A 4 out of 10 horror that apparently had a fascinating concept that got catastrophically lost in production. The magazine basically wrote its obituary before it even opened.
But the 15th of May, the summer of discontent in Paris, a 1973 Parisian political thriller, 6 out of 10. That's the best reviewed thing on the horizon, and I'm choosing to be excited about it.
6 out of 10 is the best we've got, and you're excited. That's like celebrating because your house is only slightly on fire. Dr. No got a 4, Out of Nowhere got a 4, and Manic Miner got a 3, with reviewers saying it descends into horror-mining darkness and never finds its way back out.
Okay, you know what? I need to do the thing I do where I defend cinema as a concept, because you're draining all the joy from it. Last week, I said, entertainment has value, and not every movie needs to be Citizen Kane. And I stand by that. Sammy the Seagull is making people happy. Hard Peanut is a genuine sleeper. Your Mama's Home has an 18 million total on a 7 out of 10. That's a real crowd pleaser.
And for every one of those, there are 3 films, rated 2 out of 10, somehow making millions. That's not the audience knowing what they want. That's Stockholm Syndrome.
Agree to disagree, as always. But here's the thing. Last week you said popular doesn't mean good, and then immediately admitted Bite Hard would be brilliant based entirely on its popularity with critics. So which is it?
That's different. And you know it. Critics and audiences are 2 separate populations with wildly different pathologies. But fine, you caught me in a contradiction. Enjoy it. Frame it. Put it on your wall.
I absolutely will. That's all we've got this week, folks. I'm Jamie, reminding you that a seagull and a scary movie can coexist at the top of the charts. And that's the beauty of going to the movies.
And I'm Alex, reminding you that if the best reviewed upcoming film is a 6 out of 10, maybe just reread a book. We'll be back next week, presumably arguing over whether a Parisian political thriller can save cinema.
It absolutely can. See you then.
It absolutely cannot.